Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another broadcast of The Weekly with me, Neff. Please subscribe, like, and share with a friend. It helps us out a lot. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. We appreciate that word of mouth, guys. This article today comes from WOR. Once again, I said I was going to speak on this next article as far as Venom reviews go. So let's see if we have some more pertinent information within this article. Once again, it is written by Jordan Rumi. Venom: The Last Dance met with terrible reviews. None of us should be surprised by the overwhelming negative reactions directed towards Venom: The Last Dance. The first two movies got panned as well. However, The Last Dance might be the worst reviewed of them all. It currently stands at a 42 on Metacritic and a 37% on Rotten Tomatoes. These scathing reviews might deter more than a few people from actually going to see Venom: The Last Dance this weekend. It's also underperforming in tracking and is currently predicted to have a $55 million to $60 million opening domestic weekend. Then again, Chinese audiences seem to be infatuated by it. The movie is also Kelly Marcel's feature directing debut. Just a few weeks ago, Marcel had been spitballed as a potential future Bond director. I doubt that'll happen now. She wrote all three Venom movies, but only graduated to the director's chair with this one. Her other screenplay credits include 50 Shades of Grey, Cruella, and Saving Mr. Banks. This article ends with Jordan Rumi saying whose idea was it to promote her to director of this film. So, as far as the Venom ratings go, as I said in the last video, Rotten Tomatoes has never rated Venom very highly. I'm very interested to see the audience score. If the audience score is as bad as the Rotten Tomatoes score, then Venom has a serious problem. One, you're not going to have repeat viewership and you're going to have bad word of mouth. And we know how that works, guys. If a film has bad word of mouth, the film's absolutely dead on arrival that weekend. It will make its money up front, and then there would be no back end because there's nobody repeat viewing or the word of mouth saying, hey, you should go see the movie. So that affects films heavily nowadays. Obviously, you have the internet, which definitely can affect the film. More people with more opinions speaking. Everybody is listening to these things. People are listening to people in real life that say, hey, that movie wasn't that good. And they're like, films are expensive now. When I say films, I mean going to the movies. So going to the movies is extremely expensive. You're looking at a ticket that's going to cost you probably $11 to $15. Then you're going to get some concessions. That's going to cost you another $10 to $15. You're looking at $25 to $30 just for one person. So people are not going to be spending that type of money, especially because we're going into the holidays. People will stream Venom: The Last Dance. I'm sure it'll be streaming within the next 2 to 3 months. So I'm not going to be surprised if people pass on this. It looks like the rumors are not true. I think if we had a Spider-Man cameo, perhaps if Knull was in this film a little more, perhaps if this film was less of a mess, we'd have better reviews and we'd have some good things out there. Now, every review I've seen is not totally terrible. I've seen a lot of people say, it's a really entertaining film. Just turn your brain off for a little bit and you'll enjoy it. But in this point in time, people are not trying to turn their brains off unless it's something like Deadpool. Those films, they have their own niche. I don't think Venom does have that. Obviously, the first two Venom films have done well. People cannot discredit that. The first film had a budget of about $110 million, and it made over $800 million. I saw that Venom film, thought it was a decent flick. Wasn't the best, but it was cool. It was a nice C+ film. The second Venom, Let There Be Carnage, I didn't watch that film. I've heard mixed reviews about that film. I've heard good and bad things. That film made $560 million off a $100 million budget. Once again, that's another 3 to 4x. Can't really argue the success at the box office with these films. They've generated a lot of money. Now, this film, same budget, around $110, $120 million. I'm sure they put about 50 to 60, maybe a little more into marketing. And it's going to make $55 to $60 million on opening weekend. At least that's what they're projecting. Now, is this film going to make $500 to $800 million? More than likely, no. Nowadays, if the film does not have good word of mouth, does not have repeat viewership, you're not even getting to $400 to $500 million. We've seen films that have had good word of mouth do this. Alien Romulus is one of them. Good word of mouth, made over $350 million off an $80 million budget. Alien is back. Deadpool and Wolverine, great word of mouth, $200 million budget. Everything was pushed into this film from Marvel and Disney because it was their only release, their biggest release of the year. $200 million budget, probably $100 million in marketing, maybe $150 million in marketing, and the film made $1.3 billion. But the key and the underlier to both those films being a success this year was the good word of mouth and the repeat viewership. That is how you get to those numbers. Dune was the same way. So if Venom does not have that, it is going to fail. Kind of crazy to see that this is the direction they're going with the last Tom Hardy Venom film. You thought they would have left out on a high note, but it looks like they are not going to do that. Yeah, I don't expect to hear anything about Knull too much. I expected Knull to actually be a Thanos-type cameo character where he's not in the film, but they market the film as if he's going to be a big part of the film, and he shows up in the end credits or something like that, and they leave it on a cliffhanger. As far as Spider-Man goes, we talked about Tom Holland possibly having a cameo. I think obviously that's not going to be in this film. I think the reviews would be, you know, a little better if we did have those things that were teased so much. So I'm not surprised by this. I am surprised that the quality of the film is not that good, but, you know, like I said, I didn't watch the second one, and I thought the first one was okay. They're not the best films, but it's like, wow, this is the last one, and this is how you go out. Very interesting. Guys, let me know what you think down in the comments. We talked about Venom before in the last video, but I want to know, like I said, are you going to be watching Venom, and what do you expect from this? And if you're not going to be watching Venom: The Last Dance, let me know why you're not going to be watching it. With that being said, guys, like, subscribe, share with a friend, ring the bell for notifications, and as always, be safe. It's Neff signing off.